Rated E for everything. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rated E for everything. I'm Carl. This is.
Ooh, there's a little squeak there. Sorry. Sorry. I'm going to be doing this a lot. My name is Chanel.
And like I said, this is Rated E for everything. So let's get into why we decided to name our podcast Rated E for everything.
So we started with, we were actually going to go with a different name, but we didn't know what our topic was.
Yeah, so that's kind of the main problem, or not problem, I guess it's like sort of works out. So we just like to talk about everything. So that's pretty much why we called it. It's literally right in the name, it's like we want to talk about all sorts of different stuff.
We have so much to say.
Like, we have a lot of opinions and we want to talk about them.
And just so you know, our opinions are right.
Yeah, no matter what, they're factual and true.
Yeah. Don't believe that, actually. So we're going to be talking a little bit about everything on this show. Well, it'll be different probably every week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about
geek culture, so like that's like Marvel movies, Marvel comics, DC movies, Star Wars stuff, video games.
I'm into Harry Potter, music.
Yeah, I like Assassin's Creed and like other video games like that. We both have relatively similar taste in music, and then where we like if we don't, like that's where we pick up each other's slack, is sort of like talking about what the other one lacks and music taste and stuff like that. I mean, I like everything, and I think you do too. So,
and I love learning. So whenever Carl's gonna be more on a subject, I'm just gonna be soaking in information.
Exactly, and so it's kind of like it's rated E for everything and everyone, because it's sort of like we're trying to cater to like everybody's like what everyone's into. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you like Marvel stuff? Well, then like we'll talk about that. But if you're more into like just like listen to like current events or like what's going on in the world, or like hearing our opinions on like new movies or music or stuff like that, well, then you can come here and listen to that as well. So
yeah, and we're gonna have social media and email, so if you want to send in topics you want to hear about, we're definitely gonna hit them,
or Q&As, stuff like that. That's always fun to do. So
yeah, the type of show we'll have, it'll either be just stories about ourselves, we'll do interviews, we'll do live reviews of movie trailers or video games, and you're gonna get a little bit of everything.
So why don't you go first? Tell everyone about yourself a little bit of background information.
Just a little bit. My name is Chanel Kepke. I am 25. I almost forgot how old I was right now.
Nice.
I'm 25 years old. I'm into Harry Potter a whole bunch. I like comics. I love music. Sometimes I DJ. I work 2 other jobs. So I work with fire alarms, which no one does, so it's not very exciting. That's about it for me. I'm not very...
You're pretty interesting. Don't sell yourself short.
I got a little bit of everything. I'm spread thin, so...
My name is Carl Rotako. I'm 18 years old, currently going to be graduating high school in May, so
Woo!
That's exciting. Going off to college, going to be going into actuarial science, which is basically assessing risk and investment in like insurance or like finance and stuff like that.
Everything I don't want to do.
Yeah, so like I'm a big numbers guy. I like math, and I don't like people, so it's easy to like
go ahead and stay away from everyone.
Yeah, it's just like me sitting in front of like people are like, yeah, I want to go out in the world and I want to do like things and like interact with everyone, and I'm like, you know what, I'm fine sitting in my office.
Yeah, give me a desk. Don't let me talk to anyone.
Yeah. And I don't DJ, but at my high school I do the announcements there. I also MC the pep assemblies, which is a lot of fun for me, which is sort of segued into like obviously like doing this podcast at my high school as well. I also do a radio show, which has definitely helped out our cause here. And
yeah, why don't we go ahead and talk about that? Why are we making a podcast?
Yeah, so
who the hell knows?
Yeah, it's a pretty good question. I myself always have like a lot of thoughts about things. I know that's not very general, but like I always like want to talk, and I find that Chanel is someone who I can talk to easily, and like we just like get into like super deep like and interesting conversations without even trying sometimes.
Honestly, we can talk for hours,
yeah.
And then the people around us are like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like, stop talking. Like, what are you even talking about?
Well, we've been talking forever.
Yeah.
Who knows, So I think it was just like sort of on a whim one day. I was like, we should do a podcast, and Chanel was like, yeah, that would be cool. And then I was like, just like an idea. Like, obviously that's never gonna happen. Well,
And then I went and impulse bought everything to make a podcast.
And so I'm honestly like really excited. I think that this is gonna be a lot of fun with you, and that we're gonna have a good time here today. So
this is gonna be really fun. We just have so many things to say.
yeah. And you were talking about like how you're into Harry Potter. I would say like if I could pick like a fandom that's like sort of like that isn't like Marvel or Star Wars, I would say I like Lord of the Rings a lot.
Oh yeah. I like Lord of the Rings, but it's very like surface. I don't know the lore.
See, and I wish like I had the time to like read all the books because I feel like that would be really cool. I think they're making a TV show actually.
Yeah, I did hear that.
See,
did you happen to watch the movie? They wrote one about J.R.R. Tolkien.
No, that looked good though. I like the guy who plays I like that actor who plays him. I don't know his name, but I think he's pretty good. Did you see the movie?
Nope.
Well,
like I said, very surface level.
Okay. I think that's interesting. Like, and I don't know what's going on in the Harry Potter world. I think.
So, Fantastic Beasts 3 just got the green light to film, but I also heard a rumor, and we went to see Star Wars, and there was a trailer, like a 3-second trailer, and it was a black screen, and there was text, and it says Harry Potter will return to the big screen, and then it was over. And I was like, what? So I guess they're making something.
I mean, I know they released that book a couple years back that was like a play. I didn't read that. That seemed like...
A lot of people didn't like it, especially like the play format.
That's what I thought.
And it had to do a lot with time travel, which is kind of like J.K. Rowling's only oops in the book is she introduced time travel, and it kind of made a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
And that book was kind of to remedy that. And a lot of people didn't like it because of that. So I liked it. I thought it was amusing.
Yeah.
She could write garbage and I'd read it forever. Like, I just love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I had meant to see the second Fantastic Beasts movie and I didn't. And I like the first one.
It's way more dark.
And I like that. I think that's cool.
Twisted. So every time that we record an episode, we're gonna kind of play a little game, which I have to give credit to Cammie, one of our friends, Cammie. She got me into doing this, and I'm bringing it to Carl here. So I'm gonna call it the Cammie game.
Fair enough.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have 4 rounds where we just count to 3 and we say a word, any word, and then the main goal is by the 4th round to match words. So we're gonna try and get closer and closer and closer with our words to something that's related, and hopefully match at the end. And then you guys can play along too while you're listening, see how close you get.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes it may work and sometimes we're gonna be really off.
Yeah, so we did like a test game before, and it was a little off, but so we'll see how this goes this first time.
Yeah, so here we go. Got a word?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Jaguar.
Dog. Oh,
What did you say?
I said dog. That's not bad.
Well, I see a very obvious one.
You know, I think I do, but then it's not gonna be the same as yours.
Imagine it's like that you go to the opposite end of the spectrum that I'm at right now.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Cat.
Wolf. Oh.
See, and
okay. Now we're just.
now
side.
I see another obvious one that I think that is like.
Now that you say that, I feel dumb. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Fox.
Bobcat. Son of a, that's so good.
What did you say?
I said bobcat.
See, and I was thinking like in my mind I was like cat, wolf, like what's like a smaller like.
Yeah, no, that was good. I did not go there. I should have gone there.
What did you say, bobcat?
Yeah. What the? Who even says that?
What an animal.
I don't even know. Where do I go from there?
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm trying to think of right now.
All right, this is our last round, and I have no idea.
Well, I could throw one out there that you're definitely not gonna get, but I could just do it for the memes.
Jeez. Okay. I'm gonna just go for it, and it's not gonna be anything you're thinking.
Fair enough.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Lynx.
Swiper. Damn it! I literally thought of that. I was like, nah, He said for the meme. So like, who has a lynx in a meme?
What? I just thought like, who knows what a lynx is? You know what I mean?
Yeah, dang. I literally thought of it too. I went
Swiper.
with swipe. I thought you were going like internet funny. So I was like, all right, I got this. I got. So not this week, I guess. What I'm gonna do is we will set up a Twitter account, and
Okay.
maybe some of these we can live stream and people can answer
Yeah.
live. So
Well.
yeah, that's our game.
Guess I'm gonna have to get a Twitter then.
We're gonna get better at this. So much better. Anyways, I swear we're better than this.
We know each other a lot better than you think.
Yeah.
Speaking of knowing each other,
Yes. How do we know each other?
you know, I actually talk about like a lot with my friends, like how do we become friends? And I mean, we don't. I like it's one of those things. It's like we just sort of started like getting close. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I can't honestly remember our first conversation.
No, seriously, and that's like the weird thing is I can't either because you and I work together. So I used to be a junior camp counselor at this camp that Chanel used to work at, and that my mom actually runs.
Yeah, so he was the boss's kid. So for 2 years, I was kind of like, maybe don't bother that one. Like,
And I never really like thought of it because I was just sort of like I don't know.
you were used to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then I don't know at what point we started actually talking, but apparently we just hit it off, and
Yeah. Like
we've been really close since.
The first like real like time I remember like actually like hanging out with you and stuff like that was before you went away to Hawaii.
Oh yeah, so I didn't do very good at explaining myself as a person. I went to 3 different colleges. I went to Moraine Valley, Hawaii Pacific University, and Roosevelt University downtown. And when I left for Hawaii, I had this big party, and Carl was there, and pretty young, but he came with his mom.
I think I was. When did you leave for Hawaii?
2015.
So I would have been 14, but it would have been the summer, so I was 13.
Yeah, and then I hang out. So I guess I left this out. I hang out with Carl's mom, Michelle, quite a bit. She's actually one of my very best friends. So in turn, I hang out with Carl a lot,
Yeah.
and we just became separate friends. And yeah,
Yeah. So I think that was like one of the first times I remember like actually like hanging out with you, and then sort of just like has grown closer as our bond has grown stronger over the years.
so strong. Like,
5 years? That's insane. Time is so like crazy to me. Like
I feel like as you get older, it just goes by quicker.
Yeah. I'm starting to notice that too. It's like the days go by slow and the weeks go by. So, and like the way it feels for me is like every day when I'm at school, like the day drags and goes slow. But then before I know it, like the week is over, and then it's like January, and then it's January right now. Well, it's February. Like
Yeah,
February's in a
almost
week.
February. Yeah, so like every day seems so slow at work, and then I'm like, oh, the weekend, and then I blink and it's Monday again.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck? So our first episode here is just gonna be us kind of talking about a fun story of us together. One of the best stories I think I have ever.
Definitely. Like there are actually no words to describe it. I mean, just like
We're gonna try really hard, but like actually being there.
So let's give some background on like why. So Chanel and I both are avid collectors of Funko Pops.
Yep.
I know that we started collecting relatively around the same time, and that it just happened in conversation. I was like, yeah, I started collecting Funko Pops, and then you were like, oh, yeah, me too.
He's like, no crap, me too.
So as we've progressed, we've gone to like several like Comic Cons or toy shows, like just for the fun of it, also to like collect like potentially like rare Funkos and stuff like that. So one day I remember getting an ad on like Facebook or Instagram for this
Oh my god.
this toy store in Indiana, and I was like, well, we live in Illinois, that's pretty close, why don't we make plans? So then the summer of 2019, I remember like hearing about this in like maybe like before school ended, so like the spring of 2019. And so then the summer like came around, and it was the weekend, and we were like, let's do it, like let's take this drive to.
I trustingly threw everything into like, yeah, if Carl has an idea, I'm down.
Yeah, and so the whole, one of the main reasons we went is because the Funko Pops, like if you don't know enough about them, if you go to like a store where they have them, so like GameStop or like Walmart or Target, they're usually gonna run you, if you buy like one and there's no deal, like maybe $10 or maybe more potentially for like an exclusive one or something like that. So what I was looking at when I was like doing some research into this place, they have them for $8 and like relatively like.
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's cheap, and it's also like ones that were like exclusive and cool too that you couldn't find for like $8. So it was like,
Hell
like
yeah,
let's
we're
do it.
going.
Yeah, exactly. We should go. Like it seems like everything in the like the cards were like, you should do this. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be so cool, and like the pictures of the store made
We're-
it look massive.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, all right, we'll do it. I
The-
didn't do any research. I was just like, yeah, Carl said it's cool. I'm down. I'll drive. Let's go.
So the day comes around, and it wasn't just Chanel and I. It was also my girlfriend Olivia and
And my now
Fiance.
fiance. That's a fun word. My fiance Hannah.
And so we were like, let's just do it. So we got breakfast that morning, and we
took off.
took off.
So here we go. We're gonna go step by step through this day.
I like decided to look up this town on Wikipedia.
Go ahead, say
So-
it. What town did we go to, Carl?
Kokomo, Indiana.
Kokomo, Indiana.
So about 2.5 hours away.
Mhm.
Apparently in the 1920s, as I was reading about this, half the population of the town were KKK members.
Clan members. Yep, you heard that right here,
And-
folks. Clan members.
They had the largest KKK rally in the history of the KKK
But we're forgiving. So
at
we're
this
like,
town.
it's new. We drive. We get there. All right. And it's this small little town. It's cute.
Well,
I
let's
like it.
let's run it back real quick to us driving through the cornfields and the
Okay, so arriving at Kokomo. We think it's going to be fun. So here we are playing the song Kokomo.
by the Beach Boys, of course.
Everyone knows. And we pull out of a bunch of cornfields. We finally see some civilization. But what's the first thing that we see?
A small church with praying hands carved out of like what looks like a tree stump.
But the most massive
Like,
stump.
like let me just tell you, these were like, this was big. Like this was a large like little like statue or like art piece that was just chilling there.
I'm going to go with probably 10 to 15 feet tall, just praying hands.
Yeah.
And there was no way to get to this church. It's in the middle of a cornfield. There's not a driveway. There's no parking lot. There's no turn in. It's just like you have to walk through the cornfield to get
Yeah,
to this church.
it was literally like country roads
Yeah.
and just this church like on the corner, like in a crossroads intersection.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, that's kind of odd, like why would there be, if there was a church here, like shouldn't there be like a parking lot or something?
We
You know?
should mention that there were no houses within miles of this. there wasn't
Yeah,
houses. Like
there
we
really-
drove for
there
an
really
hour in cornfields. So, all right, then we passed it. We're like, that was kind of weird, but whatever. Jam into Kokomo. And we drive through the first like suburb part, which is nice. The houses look nice.
Yeah.
And then we get into the downtown area, and it's cute. It's old. There's
Mhm.
there's like trolley car rails in the middle of the street.
Yeah, something you would expect from a small town. There's like the big town hall, like in the
oh
middle,
yeah,
like
the city hall.
super old. It's got some like memorabilia outside, like little facts about Kokomo and like information about the town. And so we drive past the toy store, and it's sizable
Yeah, it's big.
and it looks pretty cool. So park in the parking garage, and we go inside.
Yeah, and so I might want to mention that this whole time we haven't really seen anyone. So we just pull in and we're kind of looking like, is this place closed? Is it open?
And then here's the weird thing is that there were a lot of cars in the parking garage. I mean, not a lot, but
It was-
enough for where it looks like there would be like people like milling about like on the streets and like
yeah, pretty
walking
full.
around. But yeah, so we hadn't really seen anybody.
Yeah, so we go into the toy store and it's open, luckily, which we weren't sure.
But then we walk in and there's like a couple like there's
people.
I mean, there's like enough people in there where you're like, oh, okay, so this place is clearly not closed. And
It's not weird.
yeah, and that was like honestly like the best experience of the trip is like
Yeah, the
getting-
store was great.
yeah, the store was pretty awesome. Like all the Funko Pops, I think we got like that was cool. We took
I
like
think we got like 20 combined.
yeah, definitely. And so that was cool. So we leave with our haul, our stash, if you will,
Yeah, we go put it in the car.
and then we're like, let's take a walk around town. Like what else are we gonna do?
We're
And so,
we're out here, might as well make a day of it.
yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, all right, what's like something every town has? So I look up like a coffee shop, and it's right around the corner. Well, we decide to go. We walk over, and we pass this thing like 3 times, first
Yeah.
of all. And there's not that many buildings.
Yeah,
So
and there wasn't really any like real signage of like where it was, and the directions weren't helping. It was really like in an odd place. So we walk in, and
it smells like complete sewage.
yeah, it smells like a straight up sewer.
like
If you've ever like experienced a used porta potty being emptied, I would say that that's the equivalent of how it smelled.
yeah. Or honestly, it was horrid. But we walk in, and there's a couple people who are just staring at us like they don't notice that it smells like complete butt in
Yeah.
there. Like, it smells awful, but we're like, all right, maybe you get used to it. Maybe it fades as you walk through the doorway. But I'm literally like, I'm not that disgusted that easy, but I was in there like almost gagging. Like, it smelled
Yeah.
bad.
It was pretty rough. So we order our coffee and we sit down, and as we're like, making some more keen observations about this place, we realize that it is not only a coffee shop but also a pottery studio.
As well as there's a
Like a
clothing store, but there's literally one rack with like 8 shirts.
Yeah, and there's like a large dramatic staircase that leads up to this clothing area that also has like doors that open to nothing. And there's like a couple people up there, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? How's it going, dude? You like this? Like these clothes? Like
These
nothing."
8 shirts that don't match and look like someone else had worn them before.
Yeah,
And so we're having coffee, and the coffee sucks, but whatever, that's fine. But we go to put in like sugar packets because they give it black.
yeah,
And these sugar packets are like ancient.
yeah,
They were like cemented and like crumbly. Like the outside, the package was crumbly, but the sugar that should have been crumbly was like cement.
yeah.
So like I'm like, do people go here? Are these people real? Like, is this actually a coffee shop or is
Yeah.
this like a trap?
Yeah, it was weird. So then I get up and I decide to like use the bathroom, and I like am walking back, and I see like a washing machine in the back,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like the back door like opened, like there was like it was like a through thing, so there was like a back door that led it like right into like the middle of a street.
Literally into the middle of a street, like where there was a car parked on that street.
Yeah.
Like, you just walk off the stair into the middle of the street.
And what looked like a moonshine, like a mason jar
God,
full of
yeah.
what I initially was like, oh my god, that's urine, that's disgusting.
It's
But then I
bright yellow, just sitting like right before the door.
it definitely like as I thought about it more, definitely was not urine. It was probably like something to like catch flies or like
It just was weird.
it
Though.
was
So
strange.
odd. So here we are. Like, do people go to this coffee shop? Is it real? Are we in like a fake town? Like, if you ever have seen The Hills Have Eyes, like that's
Yeah.
what I thought of. So I'm like, all right, like just a weird feeling. Let's go somewhere else.
Real weird vibe.
Yeah.
So we walk out the back street door, and we were like, I remember noticing as we were like walking to the toy store, I was like, well, there's a comic book store like literally right next door, and I
Yep.
mean, we're huge comic book nerds, so why don't we just go in there and check it out?
Now this is where things get like where I went from like, this is kind of weird to we were in there and I was just like, what the actual F is happening here?
Before we tell, should I? What happened with the Liberty Bell? Was that before or after?
Yeah, that was before. So we have okay, so we're outside. There's still no people in sight on the streets. There's
Yeah.
cars everywhere.
and
No
law
one.
offices for miles around.
Yeah, but no people. So we go to the statue right before the comic book store, and it's a big old bell, like a small replica of the Liberty Bell, and we're just like, just having fun. And Carl decides he wants to ring the bell. Now we thought like, it would be loud, but like whatever. He rings it, and I swear the next 3 towns away through
Yeah.
the cornfields
I
heard it.
really did not anticipate it to be that loud because I initially pushed it and I was like, oh, it's just a replica, like it must not move. And then I like pushed it a little harder, and it was like, ba-bong!
through the one of the loudest things I've ever heard, like where most of us jumped.
Yeah,
We're like, oh my god.
Yeah, and like I think my girlfriend had her like back to me, and I don't think she was like she like jumped like physically like jumped in the
Yeah.
air.
And then we're like looking around and still no people. So we're like, this is just odd. It's just so weird. So we go in this comic book shop, and I'm a decently friendly person, so I try and make small talk with people when I see them.
And it's a small comic book store, and there's 3 dudes sitting behind the counter in there, and they obviously have not done pretty much any business that day. So they were like, some what they probably caught on right away as out of towners.
Yeah, clearly they rang the bell. So we go in there, and I'm just like, I don't know, small talking, and I'm looking at all these comics, and the guy goes, "If you touch it, you buy it."
Yeah, this is a little more of a Chanel's part of the story because I was trying to do my best to like lay low when we were in
Yeah.
here. So
So he goes, "If you touch it, you buy it," and I was like, "Well, I'm broke, so that's a problem," like something along those lines. And I was like, "I'll have to pay you with my soul," or something like silly.
something funny.
And this guy goes straight face, like no joking, goes, "One of your kidneys would work." And I'm like, "Excuse me? Like, did you just say you're gonna harvest my organs?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Ha ha, funny. And he goes, "Or both of them." And I was like, okay, moving on. So I'm like trying to ignore that he just wanted to take my organs out of my body. And I just keep looking. And then he says something like, we have a cooler out back. There's no ice, so we'll keep them a little colder, but probably lukewarm.
Yeah, because it was hot out that day. It was summertime, so
So I'm like, all right, this joke has gone on too far. I'm going to get a comic and I'm going to leave. So I asked this guy if I can pay by cash or card. And he looks at me like I'm the dumbest person on this planet. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Some comic shops, they're small. They only take cash.
yeah.
And he's like, I'll take your card. I was like, okay. So he swipes it. And at some point, he starts talking about what we're wearing.
Oh yeah, this was odd.
And he's like, oh, all black? And I was like, yeah, haha, like my soul. And he's like, interesting. No one will see blood. And I was like, what is wrong with this person? Like, what is going
That's
on?
interesting. I don't remember that.
Yeah. And then I don't remember exactly what happened.
I remember something about like asking us about like voting stuff. I don't remember the specifics, but it was like really odd, like off the ball questions that you wouldn't just ask like patrons of your comic book store. That
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not really going to get into politics. That's what I told
Yeah.
him. And then he literally goes, we could mug you right now and no one would know. And I was like, you wouldn't get much. And I was like, you'd take my dignity. And he's like, well, that's not worth anything. And I was like, dude, what? So we skipped the F out of there.
yeah, and then we go to a music shop that was a little ways past the comic book store, and or a little ways past the toy store. I mean, and so we're still like not seeing anybody, and there's like plenty of stores around, and all these places are open, but there is nobody around. So still bizarre.
A lot of the places that said like their signs were open, their hours of operation said they were open, but like the front lights were off.
Yeah.
So it's really bizarre.
So we walk into this place and it's like pretty much pitch black in there. It was really like bizarre again.
Yeah.
And we walk in and like there's two guys in there and they're like having a conversation. Again, we're the only people in the store, and they just like look at us.
Why did we go in there?
I don't know because we were looking for stuff to
thinking?
do. And then I mean I don't even remember, were they like, hey, what's up? And then like,
No, it was like we weren't there.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. They didn't even address us.
They
And we
didn't
were
even
in the
look at
store
us.
for like 5 to 10 minutes. Didn't buy anything. Like they just kept having their conversation and then we left. Like it was super weird. It was like we didn't
Don't forget
exist.
the masks. Like when we walked in,
Oh yeah, there was like a bunch of like weird like
creepy
masks like hanging from the ceiling. They were
So-
hanging from the ceiling, right?
So yeah, so much so that Olivia opened the door, looked at him, panicked, and tried to run back out and smacked into Carl. And we're like, "What? What?" And she's like, "Nope, no, no, no." But of course, being us, we still made her go
Yeah.
in.
So
It's just weird.
we didn't
man.
buy anything from there, and then we were like, it's like I don't know, a little after like 12, maybe it's like 2 o'clock, and we're like, let's get some lunch. So like, really odd thing. There's like this wing place like right next door.
One like colorful new building.
Yeah, like you could tell that it was like brand new. And so we go in there, and there was actually some people in there as well. Like, I mean, not enough.
Like 3 people.
Yeah, but like there was like a guy maybe sitting at the bar, and like some people like seated somewhere else. And so we're like, okay, well, we'll go in and sit down. And we were like standing there, and there was like no one there to like really greet us.
Yeah.
So we like sit down, and we could get our table, and we're like sitting there, and then our waitress comes over, and she's like, oh, what do you guys want to drink? And she's like, you
Like-
tell this part better. This is
Oh
hilarious.
my god! So this lady, she acts like she's never seen humans before. Like I'm telling you, she was surprised that there was people in this restaurant,
Yeah.
and she's just so nervous and fidgety that I'm like, is she okay? Like, is someone telling her to do this? Like, so she comes to the table and she goes, so here's your menus. Here's your menus, and you can order. There's chicken, there's burger, there's everything. We have everything. And so yeah, I'll come back for drinks in a second. I'm like, oh, okay, like thank you. She comes back to the table asking for drinks, and everyone orders something normal. And then I was like, I don't know, maybe just water.
What do you got?
Yeah, and I was like, maybe just water. Like, do you have any like lemonade? And this lady's eyes get fucking massive. Oh,
keep going.
they get massive. And I'm like, oh, what? Did I just say something wrong with lemonade? And she goes, well, we don't have lemonade, but we have like this fruit juice, like high C, and oh my gosh, we have strawberry lemonade. Have you ever had strawberry lemonade? We have. It's like so good. I'm gonna get you strawberry lemonade.
Yeah.
And I was
it
like, all right, that's
like
fine.
really bizarre.
It sounds
And
good. And she's shaking, like trying to write this down. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So we order an appetizer, and then I get up because I'm kind of a germaphobe, and so I like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I didn't like I just went in there to wash my hands, so I'm like walking to the bathroom and I'm like washing my hands, and so the paper dryer, like the where you get like the paper to dry your hands off, is like a little ways back, like farther into the bathroom. So I like walk in and I like pump the thing and I'm like drying my hands and I like do like a turn, and I see these urinals, and something I've never seen before in my life. I can't even like really like explain how odd this was. Is I turn around and these urinals are, if you have seen like the Rolling Stones like Lips logo, that's exactly what these urinals were.
Mind you, the whole restaurant was themed like very normal, very mild. Like it wasn't like this crazy like rock restaurant
Yeah.
or anything like a bar that was like raunchy. Just this normal
Like a sports bar. It was
yeah, like
literally
a
just like a normal
B-dubs.
sports. Yeah. So I like go in there and I turn and I see these like giant lips on the urinal, and I'm like, I'm like, I have to take a picture of this. Nobody will believe me if I say that I saw this, because who would
yeah,
think
why
of
would
that?
it be there?
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe at a bar or I don't know. It's just odd.
So it was just very weird to like see that, and like I think they went to the girls' bathroom later, and there was like nothing super strange in there, but it was just like weird to see. Like I can't really explain like my reaction. I just like burst out laughing, and it was also like, oh my god, like what is this right now?
Yeah. So our appetizer, it's tater tots, and they're like cheesy tater tots.
So there's like cheese and like bacon like dumped all over these things.
And we don't have any silverware, and this lady is clearly stressed out.
So, but we didn't actually ask for the silverware yet. We were just like, well, we'll just suffer through it. And
Yeah.
we ate our appetizer, and so we order our regular food, and so we get our regular, and then so we're waiting, and you know, like I think another people, like more people walk in, and it's just like, you know, mild mannered. The lady's being, you know, super sketchy and is like,
So weird.
oh my god, are you guys okay? Like what's going on? You know?
Oh my god, when she brought my strawberry lemonade, she was just so ecstatic to give it to me. Like, oh my god, this is the best thing you'll ever taste. And I was like trying to like, yeah, oh my god, so good, but it's just normal. Like it clearly
It's
came
just-
out of a
just-
soda machine.
Just
Like
tastes like strawberry lemonade.
yeah, and she's like so jazzed that I actually let her bring me the strawberry lemonade. So I was like, yeah, whatever makes you happy, I'm cool with.
So we all got boneless wings, and so they bring it all to us, and we're like, well, we don't really want to get our hands dirty because they're covered in sauce. So when she brought them, we were like, well, we didn't get any silverware. Like, there's there silverware on the table, or like, did you just like forget to give it to us?
You would have thought that her mother died when we told her this. She almost nearly broke down in tears.
And so she's like, oh my god, he didn't give you silverware. The guy who said you didn't give you silverware, and we were like, yeah, no, he didn't. And she's like,
no big deal.
I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I can't believe this happened. And like pitter patters away to go get us our silverware, and then she comes back and she's like, I'm so sorry again. That won't ever happen again. Like that. I didn't mean for this to happen.
Like almost like sorry, master. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
master. Like it was very. I don't think like telling the story out loud has the effect of how weird
no, yeah,
these places
it was
were.
just really strange. And so my girlfriend gets like real like sick to her stomach from eating here.
And I mean, the wings weren't bad, but
No,
it was just
I mean they were just like wings. I mean
Yeah.
there was nothing to write home about, you know. So we leave and we're like, well, we're still here, so
we have to mention that Olivia almost passed out.
yeah.
Like she did not feel well. So we're
Yeah.
like, what the hell is going on? We always have wings. It's not a big deal.
yeah.
And she's like literally laying her head on the table, like gonna pass
Yeah.
out. We're like, what is happening? We need to leave this place too. Like everywhere we left was like, why are we here? We need to go.
Also, not to mention that this wing place, like when you walked initially in, it was not only a wing place, there was also like a second very ornate door that led to like a club.
Yeah, something like in a basement. And
Yeah,
I was like, that's not sketchy.
So we leave and we're like, well, we're still in Kokomo, so
I look up the main attraction. Like, what is the biggest thing to do in Kokomo? Like, what are we gonna do to top this trip off? Something awesome. And what do we find, Carl?
So you're looking at your phone, and the first thing that pops up is the Coco Mantis.
Coco Mantis.
So
It is this 21 to 25 foot tall praying mantis
made out of like metal.
in the middle of it just randomly placed. It looks like someone dropped it there.
Yeah, and so we're like, well, it's just like it's literally down the street, so let's take a walk over there. In the meantime, we're passing stores that are open, but there's nobody in them, and so we get over there, and we're like, oh my god, this is the main road. How did we not see this 25-foot
We
praying
drove
mantis
past it.
on the way in? Like, so bizarre. I was like, I don't remember seeing that. Like, that's so weird to me.
It just appeared. I
And
swear to God, it just appeared.
And it was like the spokes, like the like the spokesman or like mascot for like a Subway that was in this outlet
But it
mall.
had nothing to do with it was like literally placed over the Subway sign, but it had nothing to do with Subway. Like it wasn't for an ad or anything. It was just there.
Yeah.
Like
it was,
almost like they built the Subway under it.
Yeah, so it was just like really weird, and I wish I could remember. I'm gonna have to find it now because it'll bother me until I remember
the
what
sign?
the sign said.
It's something creepy along the lines of "Please don't touch me, I'm ticklish."
Yes.
Love Coco Mantis.
I actually don't know if I have the picture. Now I'm looking at,
Oh.
the Rolling Stone urinals again.
Oh my God. Yeah, so there was this sign that said, I think it said, "Don't climb me, I'm ticklish, Coco Mantis."
I have a picture of me and my girlfriend standing in front of it, and it says Coco, like, you know how people are like Confucius say, like that sort of like funny thing. It says Coco Mantis says, "Please don't climb on me, I'm ticklish." Like what even is that, you know?
Ew, yeah. So we leave Coco Mantis again, kind of sketched out. Like what is this place?
Yeah.
So we're walking down the main road. We're walking all over this main city. Not a single person. We have not seen anyone outside
on
the stores
on the street,
yet.
like beside like people who we've encountered inside. And so Chanel whips her phone out and she starts taking a video and she goes, "Man, this is so weird. There's like nobody out here." And literally as she was taking the video, walking in front of the coffee shop is like a man and a woman.
I swear to God, I sent this video to Carl's mom actually, and as soon as I sent it, I kid you not, we saw people everywhere.
So
after
there's
that.
like people walking outside in front of the toy store. There's people walking outside in front of the comic book store. There were people walking past us.
Yeah.
There were people
Like, where
coming,
did you
and
come
so,
from? They were, I swear, like, these people came out of the floor. They just appeared.
It was like the town had like caught on to us noticing that something was like
something's
odd.
weird.
And so we're like walking back to our car. We're like, we have to go.
We're getting the hell
and so
out of
and then
here.
there's people walking out of the parking garage. People walking into the parking garage. It was like
We were there for probably 4 or 5 hours and didn't see a single soul outside. I sent one video saying it out loud that like there's no one here, and they were like, "Oh God, she's onto us," and there was just people everywhere.
Yeah, and it was super bizarre.
We decided that between the harvesting organs, the weird
mugging.
chicken wings that almost made Olivia pass out, the fake storefronts that said they were open.
Several law offices, like when I say that there was literally a law office on like every other storefront was a law office, I'm not kidding you. Like there were, like I counted like 5 or 6.
Yeah, there's a bunch. So between all that, we decided that Kokomo is probably a front for cannibals. Yep, that's what it is. This is what this culminated to.
Yep.
Kokomo is for cannibals.
I also am now realizing like depending on how much this podcast grows, anybody from potential Indiana who might have like relatives or might live in Kokomo themselves are probably going to get like real upset if, you know.
I don't know if you live in Kokomo, but if you do,
we're sorry.
We're not insulting you. Just tell us what the heck is going on there. Is it like that every day?
Oh, also something bizarre. Every store like there had like the store like hours for when it was open.
Oh yeah.
Was
like Thursday through Sunday.
Wednesday, like it was literally like Wednesday to Sunday, or maybe you're right. It was Thursday to Sunday. It was like the first like 4 days of the week they were off.
Yeah, like what is that?
Yeah,
are these people real?
Like,
were you all actors? I don't know, but it was weird. If you're from Kokomo, I don't know if I'm even apologizing. Just tell me what the heck is going on.
Yeah, and like what was the other biggest attraction? Like a man-made like lake or something, like
oh no, that
museum.
was they had a water park and it was literally like a pool.
Yeah.
Like a small pool, and it was like Kokomo's biggest water park.
And so it was like top 5 attractions, and it was like that thing, and then like some other store, and then like a Papa John's.
Yeah, a Papa John's.
A Papa John's, like top 5 attractions in the $100,000 like that's how many people live there, like city of Kokomo.
Yeah.
So clearly that place never really recovered from the 1920s. Another fun little tidbit about Kokomo: the mayor was once dragged out of his office on horseback and then shot dead in the street of Kokomo.
You know, normal stuff. I'm pretty sure that whole place was haunted and or, like I said, cannibals. Like straight up hills have eyes. Something was wrong.
It was very odd.
I don't think this podcast will do it justice,
No,
but
and
it was.
you guys might think we're a little odd for maybe we're making a big deal out of nothing, but it was definitely a very odd experience.
I have the urge to literally get T-shirts that say "I survived Kokomo, Indiana." Like we made it.
And then they all blamed me, and they were like, "Carl, why would you take us to a weirdo place like that?" And I'm like, "Guys, I just wanted to go get Funko Pops. Like, don't even come at me like
But
that."
now, because of the way phones work, if you listen to this on your phone, from now on, you're gonna get ads for the Kokomo toy store. And I mean, go at your own risk, honestly.
I mean, I would go.
I wouldn't go back. There's no way, Carl. You can drag me back there. Is that too soon on horseback?
I mean, it was the 1840s,
So we're good.
And then my birthday rolls around this year, and I'm turning 18, and so that's like a pretty monumentous occasion. And so
He's an adult.
Chanel gives me this like birthday gift that's honestly pretty cool. You can go ahead and describe it. You probably would do justice better than I.
We didn't know what to get Carl, so we decided that we would let him decide his own fate. So I gave him like this decision tree, saying like different things like if you want a birthday present that you can use, or like a birthday present for an experience, or like whatever, and he got to choose his own fate.
And so one of the like options, like after I looked, my present wound up being tickets to the C2E2, which is Chicago Comic Con, and that's coming up actually. I think we're both pretty excited about that. And one of the options was, like going to like any like Funko shop like in the area or like around like Chicago or like maybe in like a neighboring place, and then except like in parentheses it said except Kokomo.
We'll never go.
And the picture like that went with it, because each one had like a picture, was the Coco Mantis.
And that's it. That's Kokomo. So like I said, go at your own risk. That was probably the strangest experience I've had with Carl. So
I would say like one of the funs. I had a lot of fun. That was
we
honestly
made
like,
it so fun.
Yeah.
Because we were just like, our adrenaline was up, so we were kind of making it into like this like scary movie
pretty much
experience.
Yeah.
So that's our little intro into what kind of people we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Mind you, this whole time we thought we were gonna die. We were giggling like children,
like laughing. Like
that's our episode today. Just a little story about who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
We are
rated E for everything.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Make sure you listen next week.